tomorrow morning we will be seeing a woman here in Hargeisa who does circumcisions. I want to understand that psychology a little bit better. I want to understand how somebody can take these 8-year-old, 9-year-old girls and cut them up in ways that cause them immense pain and will cause them lifelong reproductive difficulties. I want to understand that.
We're getting up at 5, and we're leaving here at 6 tomorrow to meet, as Nicholas has said, a bona fide cutter.
There was a period when Americans were way too soft on FGM and didn't, just cultural relativism, didn't want to criticize other cultures for their practices.
Well, isn't that the tightrope that we walk? Between intervention or awareness or embarrassing other people by, oh, don't mention that.
I think at some points you just, when people are slicing off girls' genitals, you've got to say that's wrong. That's not, that may be your culture, but it's also a pretty lousy aspect of culture.
Amen.
It's a little nicer than I thought.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
This is Asha.
Very nice to meet you.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you please thank her for allowing us to meet her today?
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, we want shoes off.
In America, we don't have female circumcision. Can you explain what the benefit is, why people want to do it? Is it to prevent girls? Is that thought that if girls are circumcised, they won't be wild? Let me ask about culture. I take your point that this is a Somali tradition, but you and everybody in Somaliland has changed culture. You live in a house that is not traditional. You have electricity, and that's not traditional. So why preserve this one element of Somali culture that causes so much pain to girls, that makes it harder for them to have children, when you were changing all kinds of other aspects of culture?
Thank her for her honesty. Is there any possibility, if she were financially compensated for perhaps retiring from this, would she take that money and consider an alternate source of income instead of continuing this? Does she have an estimation in her mind about, say, what her monthly income is, since she's so reputable and relied upon in her community for this service?
Normally, on average, she does it 10 to 12 daily.
10 to 12 every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every day?
Every day. She does.
She was
10 to 12
impressive.
a day.
And the capitalism involved in this, like you said. This is a capitalist venture. Call a spade a spade. She said that she would not continue to do this if she could make that money in any other way. Women give life. Women's private parts are the bringers of life. And now I'm going to get pissed, so you better start talking. Great view.
This is
everything.
This is my favorite spot.
You see the whole city.
I look out in the valley and I say, oh, I'm a midwife. Been getting babies out of that damaged part of the human body for the past 50 years. And every time I touch it and every time I see it, it brings mine back. And that's probably why I tried to fight it.
This took 4 years, right?
Took 4 years. 4 years to build. From nothing, from zero. In 1991, I was with the UN and WHO. I was retiring, so I just restarted my whole life. I just make an inventory of everything I had and what I needed and what I did not need. I'm coming to live in Hargeisa, Somaliland. There are no roads. What am I going to do with a Mercedes? So I just sold everything I had. Jewelry, microwave, washing machine, just turned into cold cash. And then I got my UN pension, terminal benefits, repatriation grant. I shrunk myself down from being the most senior diplomat at the UN in Djibouti to a retired old woman who was overseeing the construction of this building. And you know where my office was? That tree.
That tree?
That's where I would meet people. When I finished the skeleton, I had no windows, no doors. And that's when the Friends of the Edna Hospital came to the rescue.
These are people in the United States?
Yes, in the United
How many people are there that are friends of the Edna Hospital?
There are about 11 or 12 women.
Uh-huh.
And they really have helped us. They've been our life, our oxygen. And then there were the people in town. One businessman gave me all the steel to cover half of this roof. Somebody gave me all the scaffolding, the cranes, free of charge. Then we also have the British government, Denmark, France, the United States. USAID has built the outpatients. When people say a woman built this hospital, it's not quite true. The world built it.
Edna, to me, I've heard it said so many times, this expression, force of nature. But I don't think I've ever met anybody who embodied the phrase so much. She truly, I think, is the photograph in the encyclopedia next to that word.
I want to do FGM for my daughter.
We say you don't.
I'm an old woman, I am traditional. I want to do FGM.
It causes dysmenorrhea,
What's this menorrhea? I don't understand.
difficulty in menstruation.
Okay.
Dysmenorrhea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, when she's going to deliver a baby, it's very difficult because elastic muscles of perineal cannot be stretched.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm
You are
sure.
educated. You're
Yeah.
telling me the truth?
Yeah.
Okay. I will think. I will ask my husband. I will see what happens
Yeah.
before I decide.
So you will come to me again.
You should put on a play like this out there in these towns where we've been. She's planting these brilliant seeds of empowering women by creating midwives who are trying to inform women that they do have choices by spacing their children, yes. By maybe not having mutilated genitals, yes.
Yesterday you were my student. Today we are colleagues. You are the pioneers.
How do you say congratulations?
Mabruk.
Mabruk. Give yourself a hand.
Hindi so malanggal ilahay afmag kami na hausurni. Father, Mom, I see the benefit this is having, the effect that this is having on communities. I see the talent of the students we train. I see the number of girls who want to get into training, into health. She's fine.
She is fine.
Okay. I am seeing change. I'm not hoping, I'm confident.
Look at her eyes. She recognizes your voice. She opens her eyes for you.
We're seeking change and we're getting change and we are proving that change can take place because with all of these things happening around us, this little hospital built on a garbage dump by a crazy old woman who should have retired a long time ago has reduced maternal mortality rate of the women who come here to 1/4 of the national average. And if Somaliland can do it, poor country, a country that is not politically recognized, then any other country can do it too. Sign this one for me to say I wanted to die.
Genital cutting really does reflect one of the grossest examples of discrimination against women. And people criticize us for saying, oh my goodness, you're just making a cultural judgment. But you know, my grandmother's feet were bound. And boy, am I so glad that there was a movement to eradicate that, and that foot binding was eradicated. When there is a practice that is so offensive to the human rights of women, it is okay for us to say, this is wrong, let's try and see what we can do to turn it around, to eradicate it.
Country after country, women suffer very specific and concrete kinds of discrimination. In many countries, it is considered that this is the place of women or the lot of women.
Many women and girls are made to feel second class and subjugated by a wrong use of religion and tradition.
It's very difficult to break out of the tradition, but the tradition has to be broken.
The greatest challenge to female empowerment is probably changing the stereotypes that exist in so many cultures. And a lot of times they are perpetuated by women, which is a really important thing, because once you sit down with women and you start looking at those things, the barriers do start to break down, and women themselves can often change them.
These are things that the society has tolerated for so long. So to get someone to say, this is wrong, I need to change this, it takes a special person to do that.